Hey guys, here's a simple explanation of how to use reference atlases. Reference atlas is a feature that makes it possible to design your entire UI with one atlas and then switch it dynamically to a different atlas if you so desire. Most obvious example would be having an SD atlas, HD atlas, Ultra HD atlas, and so on and so forth. To use this feature, it's actually quite simple. Instead of designing your entire UI using an atlas, you would have several atlases instead. You would have, in this case, an HD atlas, for example, an SD atlas, and then you would have a reference atlas that actually links them together. So when you're actually designing the user interface, you would be using the reference atlas, which would be set to reference type and point to an actual atlas that you want to use. Here I can actually switch it from SD to HD, and you will notice that the sprite will change accordingly. So how does it actually work? Well, there's the standard definition atlas, which actually has a pixel size of 1, and then there is the HD atlas, which has a pixel size of 0.5. Now the reason for that is the sprites are of different sizes. Here's the source sprite that I used for the HD atlas. You'll notice that it's 300 by 182, and then there's the same sprite for the standard definition atlas, which is 150 by 91, which is exactly half the size of the HD one. And that's the basic idea. You will create your atlases in such a way that sprite names have to match exactly. You'll notice that the sprite names match, and the sizes will be what you would expect them to be, adjusted by the pixel size. In this case, my standard definition atlas is exactly half the size of HD atlas, so I specified the HD atlas's pixel size of 0.5. So if you take these dimensions, 300 by 182, multiply them by 0.5, you will get the same exact dimensions as here, 150 by 91. So as far as NGUI is concerned, the sizes of all the widgets that you will be creating using either of these atlases will be the same. And this is an important thing to do with HD and SD atlases. You will not want to rescale your user interfaces when you swap from HD to SD. Instead, only the pixel density will change, and that's exactly what the pixel size does. Now of course I don't have to use these numbers. I can specify a pixel size of 1 here, but then I would have to adjust the SD to be pixel size of 2 in order to compensate for the difference in sizes of the sprites. Now of course if I select the sprite and I do a snap, it will resize. It'll adjust the scale, because the base size of the reference atlas, which is referenced in the SD atlas, is now multiplied by a scale of 2. I hope this makes sense to you. Pixel size multiplied by the dimensions results in the actual size of the widget. But anyhow, how do you actually make use of this at runtime? Well, before doing a build, what you will want to do is set the atlas reference to nothing. So your entire user interface will not be referencing any atlases. Now the reason for that is when you actually start your application, neither the HD or SD atlas will be in memory, which is important. You will want to load the correct atlas dynamically based on whatever criteria you want to decide. So here I have a simple script on the UI root called load atlas. It references the SD and HD atlases, which reside in the resources folder, which makes it possible to load them using resources.load. So here's the script itself. As you can see, all it does is it references the reference atlas, which is the atlas we're looking at. It references the SD and HD by name, which makes it possible to load them. And here I have just a boolean that specifies which actual atlas to load. In your case, you will obviously want to do something else, like if it's iPhone 5, load this atlas. If it's iPad Retina, load that atlas, but it's up to you to create this logic. So anyway, here I have resources load, and I just load the atlas as a type of game object, and then I set the reference atlas's replacement atlas value to the atlas that's on the game object. Straightforward, right? So here, let's see what happens when I hit play. When I hit play, the standard definition atlas gets loaded and the replacement atlas value gets set. Now, if I stop it, you'll notice that it's kept because I was modifying the actual prefab. So this will not happen at runtime, obviously. When you build on a device, it's not going to keep anything. So, back to the atlas, I'm going to set it back to nothing. On the UI root, I'm going to specify load HD instead. Hit play, and you will notice that the image is crisp now because it loaded it from the high definition atlas. Well, I hope this clarifies on how to use this feature. But if something is unclear, please stop by the forums and ask a question there. And I'll do my best to explain. Thanks for watching.